Hello everyone, welcome back once again for the utilization of electrical power course. In this course, we started with module 1, that is heating and welding process. So in previous session, we already discussed about the modes of heat transformer. Let us once again discuss about this heat transformer, how we are going to transfer various modes of heat transformer. As we already discussed, there are three modes of heat transformer. One is conduction transformer, second one is convection transfer, and third one is radiation transfer. So in this I have considered a vessel over here. So this vessel I'm going to place it on some burner. So inside this vessel I'm going to have some food inside this pan. Okay, so the heat transformer through conduction, as I told before, it is transfer between the burner to the pan, not to the food. Is it clear? So in this way we are going to transfer the heat from the burner to the particular vessel. So such kind of heat transfer is nothing but conduction. Okay. So second method of heat transfer is convection. So in this convection mode of heat transfer, once again we are going to consider a pan. I'm going to place this pan on top of the burner. Okay, so inside this I'm going to have some liquid form of material. So let us consider a milk is poured inside this pan. So we need to heat this liquid form of material, right? So as we know, this pan is kept on the burner. So the burner's fume will heat up this pan. So as the pan gets heated up, as the liquid is present inside this pan, so ultimately we are going to transfer the heat from this pan to this liquid material. So this form of heat transfer is nothing but convection. So here the heating is transferred from a burner to our pan. So from pan, once the pan gets heated up, so it will transfer its heat to the liquid which is present inside this pan. So this method of heat transfer is nothing but convection. Yeah, next method of heat transfer is nothing but radiation. So radiation, the best example for the radiation, as I told in previous session, is the heating of earth surface. So earth is getting heated up due to the presence of these rays which are eliminated by the sun. So sun will eliminate these rays, infrared rays, heat energy. These all rays will fall upon the earth surface. So once these rays fall upon the earth surface, the earth will get heated up. So this method of heat transfer is nothing but radiation. So as there are three types of modes of heat transfer, one is conduction, convection and radiation. Hope these heat transfer modes are clear for you. Now let us move to the next topic of this course. Okay, so next topic is classification of electrical heating. So there are mainly two types of classifications are there. One is power frequency heating, another one is high frequency heating. So under power frequency heating, we are going to have two types. One is resistance heating, another one is arc heating. In resistance heating, we are having direct resistance heating, indirect resistance heating. In arc heating, we are having direct arc heating and indirect arc heating. And second form of electrical heating is high frequency heating. So in this we are having a insulation heating, that is, and dielectric heating. In insulation heating we are having direct core type of heating and coreless type of heating. So these are the various types of electrical heating. So one by one we are going to study in detail about these all heating. Okay, so let us start with resistance heating. Okay, so before that, first we need to classify the heating methods. So mainly there are three types of heating methods are there: low temperature heating, medium temperature heating, and high temperature heating. They classified according to the temperature degree Celsius. Okay, so low temperature heating are up to 400 degrees Celsius, whereas medium temperature heating are up to 400 degrees Celsius to 1050 degrees Celsius, and whereas high temperature heating comes under above 1150 degrees Celsius heatings are nothing but high temperature heating. So there are three methods of heating. One is low temperature, medium temperature, and high temperature. Okay, so we already discussed about the classification of electrical heating, right? So electrical heating are classified into power frequency heating, high frequency heating, and micro heating. As we already know, power frequency is divided into two types: resistance heating, arc heating, and whereas high frequencies are divided into induction heating, dielectric heating, and infrared radiation or radiating heating. So we'll start with resistance heating now. Okay, so before that, first let us study the characteristics of heating elements. So what all the characteristics we need to have for a particular element to be a very efficient. Okay, so characteristic of a diode, you might have studied the characteristic of diode. So these all characteristics will make the diode as a particular good diode, right? So like that, what all the characteristics we need to have to make the heating element to be a better efficient. So the heating element should have these all characteristics. Okay, so first one is about high resistivity. So because of this resistivity, so heating element will get heated up very quickly. As we know, the losses is given by what, I square r. So the high resist with the resistance value is more, the heating produced by that element will be more. Next one is able to withstand high temperature without deterioration. Okay, so suppose if the heating element is getting heated up above 1150 degrees Celsius, so it can also have to withstand that high temperature. So otherwise, what will happen if you heat some single thread copper wires? What will happen? So after reaching certain degree Celsius, they will try to melt. So we have to choose a proper heating element such that they have to withstand that high temperature. So depending upon that, we need to choose the heating element. Next one is what? Low temperature coefficient resistance. As we know, a low temp coefficient of resistance are reciprocal to the resistivity. So depending if they are high, if we choose a high resistive element, so that its coefficient should be low temperature, so that we can have a high temperature in that heating element. Next one is a positive temperature coefficient of resistance and free from oxidation at high temperature. So oxidation means what? If that particular element eliminates some forms some moisture on the element, suppose. Okay, so what will happen? So it will deteriorate the heating elements capacity, right? So we need to look for the heating element such a way that it does not form any kind of oxidation at high temperature. Next one is resistance heating. So we are starting with the first type of heating, that is resistance heating. For the example for resistance heatings are nothing but electric water heater. So in our home, if we see a heater, that two electric water heater, that electric water heater comes under which category? Resistance heating. This method is based upon I square R loss. As I told, most of the heating process we are going to use this I square R loss. So if the resistance value is more, ultimately the heating produced by that heating element will be more. So depending upon this resistance, we are going to choose various water heaters. So whenever current pass through the resistor, what will happen? Material will get heated up, and it is produced because of what? I square R losses. So which we already studied in various subjects. So once we have I square R loss in that particular material, what will happen? it will get heated up. If you consider a transmission line, so transmission line will have certain amount of resistance also. Is it correct? So in transmission line, current is passing continuously. So due to that, what will happen? If you observe, they will get heated up. The best example for best example of I square R loss heating is fan. If you consider the appliance as fan, so we are going to provide continuous supply to the fan. So due to that, what will happen? If you go and touch the ceiling fan, what you are going to observe? It is getting heated up frequently, right? Due to what? The presence of resistance in the windings of motor. Okay, so we are supplying current to the windings of the motor continuously. So what will happen? I square R loss is creating over there. So due to that, the heat is produced inside that motor. So in this way, we are going to utilize that I square R loss to produce the heat. So in resistance heating, we are going to employ I square R loss to produce the heat energy. Okay, so as we already classified, there are two types of resistance heating. One is direct heating, another one is indirect heating. Okay, so let us see what is direct and indirect heating. In direct heating, electric current is passed through the body or a charge to be heated. Okay, so in direct heating, what we are going to do? We are going to take that element, heating element, and we are going to pass electric current through that element so that it gets heated up. But in case of indirect heating, an electric current is passed through the some material placed inside the oven. Okay, so indirect heating, if you consider micro oven, so how you are going to heat the food inside the micro oven? So you are going to put a food inside some vessel and you are going to place inside the micro oven. So how you are going to heat that food? Okay, so here we are going to utilize all three modes of heat transfer in case of what? Indirect heating. So micro oven we consider. So we placed inside that micro oven a food inside some vessel. Okay, so the heat will be produced from the surface, inner surface of the micro oven, which is transferred to the vessel. So from surface of the micro oven to the vessel, it is a which kind of heat transfer? Conduction. Then once the vessel gets heated up, it will transfer to our food inside the vessel. So that mode of heat transfer is nothing but convection, and from the outer surface of the micron we are going to transfer the heat in the form of radiation. So the in case of indirect heating, we are going to utilize all the three modes of heat transfer. In case of direct heating, we are going to use only one mode of heat transfer, that is conduction. The best example of direct heating are electrode boiler for heating water, resistance welding. Electrode boiler for heating water. If you are bachelor, you might have utilized some electric heater you are going to put inside some bucket, right? So that kind of electric heater is nothing but it comes under direct heating. And the example for indirect heating are room heaters, domestic and commercial cooking, heat treatment for metals. So hope the difference between direct heating and indirect heating is clear. First method of resistance heating is direct resistance heating. Okay, let us consider a furnace like this. The material or charge to be heated is taken as a resistance. So let us consider some metal pieces which are resistive in nature. We are going to take those metal pieces and place inside this furnace. The two electrodes are immersed in the charge and connected to the supply. As there are two electrodes are there which are immersed inside this charge and they are connected to the some supply point. And on the top of these metal places, what we are going to do? We are going to sprinkle some high resistive powder so that the metal pieces avoid direct short circuit. What we are going to do? We are going to sprinkle some high resistive powder on the top of these metal pieces. So to avoid the short circuit. Okay, so once we give a supply to these electrode, due to the heat transfer, due to the conduction, what will happen? These electrodes will transfer the heat to the metal pieces. So once the heat is transferred to the metal pieces will get heated up. So due to that, they will try to melt down. So this method will have high efficiency since the heating is produced in charge itself. So as we are heating the charge directly with the help of these two electrodes, this kind of heating will have high efficiency. And but the disadvantage of this method of heating is what? The automatic temperature cannot be controlled in case of direct resistance heating. But we can have uniform and high temperature heating in this kind of resistance heating. Okay, so let us see the next type of heating, that is indirect resistance heating. Okay, so this is the diagram for indirect resistance heating. So we consider a furnace like this, and we separated the heating element and the charge to be heated like this. Okay, so the current is passed through the wire. So with the help of the supply, the current is passed through this heating element. So once we pass a current through this heating element, due to the presence of this resistance, we are going to have I square R loss. So I square R loss will be produced in the heating element. So once the I square R loss is produced inside the heating element, due to this loss, we are that heating element will produce heat energy now. The heat is delivered to the charge by one or more modes of radiation. So once the heat energy is produced with the help of heating element, now we need to transfer that generated heat to these metals. Is it correct? So how we are going to transfer the heat generated from this heating element to these metal pieces? With the help of different modes. So either it may be a convection or radiation method of heat transfer. So here we are going to use convection method of heat transfer to heat these metal pieces. So in this kind of heating, we are going to have automatic temperature can be controlled. So we are going to it is possible to control the temperature with the help of this method of heating. The example for indirect resistance heating are room heater, immersion water heaters. Okay, so these are the best example for indirect resistance heating. The next topic of this course is the process of failure of heating element. So there are some chances are there so that the heating element will have failure. So what all the various causes will make the heating element failures, let us see. So first one is what? The formation of hot spot. So hot spot will be created on the top of heating element. So once the hotspots are created, the efficiency of the heating element will be reduced. Oxidation. So if some moisture is present on the heating element, on the top of heating element, what will happen? There are chances of having a short circuit. So once the oxidation is created on the top of heating element, we are going to have the short circuit over there. So these kind of oxidation will cause the failure in our heating element. Next one is what? Corrosion. So due to the corrosion also, we are going to have failure in the heating element. Mechanical failure. So if the strength of that heating element is very less, so there are chances of melting the heating element. So that will comes under what? Mechanical failure. So these are the various causes may cause the heating element to not work efficiently. Thank you. Hope every topic is clear in this session. If you are having any doubt, please comment. I will explain it once again. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.